Yes, people, welcome to Mouthpiece. Today we are going to be speaking with our very own Jack Fincham. It is a special episode. Hope you enjoy it. Right, guys, welcome to the Mouthpiece.
Is this what it's called, the Mouthpiece?
It is called
I
the
like
Mouthpiece.
that, actually.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Yeah.
It's time to spill your truths.
Clever.
Yeah.
It is. So we may as well just delve straight into it and just we want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Not just from you. We want to hear the truth from the big man as well.
Where is he?
Mate, it's definitely you, mate. Ben Davison's been telling me.
So let's dive straight in. You're from South East London.
South East London, yeah.
What was it like growing up there?
Do you know what? I loved my upbringing. It was a classic. Like, we lived like on an estate in Abbey Wood in South East London. So it was like one of them ones, always out on the bike all day. You just play out in the street the whole day. You know what I mean? You used to knock for your mates. You used to knock for all your neighbours and stuff. But yeah, I liked growing up there. I like South East London.
Trouble?
Yeah, I was a naughty little shit. I was always in trouble. There was signs everywhere saying no ball games, and I was used to football. So every time I kicked the football, we hit the neighbour's window. Never used to go through, but it used to go bong, and they'd go, Jack, come on, you got to stop doing this now. But yeah, we was naughty little shit. Knock down Ginger as well was a favourite of mine.
Quality.
That was a favourite.
You and your brother, wasn't that? How was your
Me
brother?
and Oliver. So it's funny because my little brother, because it's what you do to your little brothers. We're all playing a game of football, right? And then we just stick him in goal, just leave him in goal. We go, you're all right back there, Oliver. You stay in goal. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. So what was the first memory of boxing that you have?
First memory of boxing. Do you know, it sounds stupid here. So I used to play football, like Sunday league. Mm-hmm. But 7-a-side, I was all right. As soon as the old offside rule come in and we got older, we had to do 11-a-side, I was useless.
Goal hanger.
I was useless. I used to sort of hang about, goal hanger. And I've just, this is going to sound ridiculous. I really wanted a six-pack. So I was only like 13. And because my mate Joe McCulley, right, he was a very good boxer, national champion. He was in my year at school and we was like best mates in school. And he used to box, he used to look really, I was like, I want to look like that. So I went to my local club, which was Elton Boxing Club. Yeah. And then as I got in there, I thought, I'm better at this than football. Just stuck at it, and all of a sudden I was there a few months, man. I had my first bout, and I was, oh my God, I'm in it, and I loved it. So my first memory was probably, being with Joe in school and him talking about boxing all the time, making weight and like all that sort of stuff that I didn't know about. And then I thought, right, I'm having a crack at this.
All for a six-pack?
All for a six-pack, and I still ain't got one.
That must have been hard to balance, though. How you were you did what you want when you were growing up. Mm. You were a fun kid. You were a cheeky chappy. Yeah. Then suddenly you're in the boxing ring. How do you balance that? Because there's a lot of discipline involved, especially for young
do you know
kids.
what though? Honestly, like it was so back then, like in the amateurs. Then it was like one of them ones. For example, if we used to come into the gym and we never had our wraps wrapped up, and they was all out. Then we used to have to just do burpees for an hour and a half. Do you know what I mean? It was things like, so it did teach us. It taught me discipline. Like, you know, when I'd be in school, getting like my school lunch, I couldn't have these ice buns they used to do in my school. Mate, that was so nice. God, mate, it was unbelievable.
He loves his food.
It was so nice though. It was just creamy deliciousness. And then, I learned your discipline to. You can't eat what you want all the time, and respect. Definitely learn respect. Like, because I remember if I was ever naughty in school, my mum would let me go training. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So because I love boxing, I was like, oh no. So then you'd end up being more well behaved because I wanted to box and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like boxing gives you just the most discipline.
100%.
Other than something like, I don't know, like going to the army, I feel like you just can't really get close to the discipline needed because you can't really cheat. In boxing, you've got
and
to
if
be
you
fit.
do, and if you do try and go into it half-heartedly, or you don't train properly, you just get found out. And at the end of the day, you can have the teams around you, the trainers around you, but it's only you stepping in the ring.
There's no other sport like boxing in that sense. I mean, that's why we weren't in boxing. We were running events, big festivals,
festivals and parties and that, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Shit was really successful, but then I started hanging around with a few boxers and seeing how they were working, seeing how disciplined they were, seeing all the things that they had to go through. That's another level. And so in terms of just being in and around boxers, and that, where I think it's so good for Jack as well, you're never going to get that type of discipline, that type of struggle anywhere else. And if you can imply that into other areas of your life, which is what sort of we've done as a business, and just being around them, it can take you to levels that you could never imagine.
Yeah. So how did you even get into the boxing world?
As I say, we ran events, big events in Manchester, festivals, gigs. Business partner Baz ran a big famous one called Mint Festival. And so, to be honest, we kind of were around boxers just from where we were from in Manchester, this big boxing scene. And one of my first friends in boxing is a cruiserweight called Sam Hyde.
Oh wow, yeah, I know him well.
Sam?
Yeah.
And so I think he actually fought Riakpo recently, but
was that his last fight actually?
Yeah.
With him, sure.
Yeah, against Dion Juma.
Yeah,
fucking war.
That was one of the best fights I've seen. Like quality, as soon as I saw that fight on paper, I knew that was going to be a tough fight.
So Sam's one of those guys. There are a lot of boxers that say they fight anyone.
Yeah.
Sam will fight anyone, and he's hard as nails, and he gets. You will have seen him in that. And so he was essentially a close friend in Manchester. And I started to go to his shows and help out on his shows. That's how I started in boxing. Okay. And I go to the shows and think, fucking hell, these guys, work their arse off for fuck all. And they're in the gym every day. And they have to go in and get beat up and do all these. And I couldn't believe that I would ever moan. And I think when I started to go to those events and see how bad they were. I don't know if anyone has ever been to small hall shows, but
I've been to loads of small hall shows.
There's tricks, you know. Like I remember that one specifically. If you're like the home promoter for a small hall show, you can pretty much pull any trick you want. Say there's no tickets left. You can make it so that the away fighter basically turns up alone.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
And I even to actually get into that fight, I had to pull out every stop. I had to go and get a JD jacket that was in my car.
How did you get to that fight? Because it wasn't televised. It should have been televised.
But Dion's one of my close friends,
right,
so
okay.
And I knew there was like no tickets kind of advertised or none ready. So I just drove up there. They was telling me there's no tickets. Like you see when you're checking side doors, trying to get in any way you can. I just put on a JD jacket in the end. I was just like, I'm here to work the fight.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That was smart.
Yeah.
That was smart. Joe
And she was just like,
well,
no, like, what do you mean? Like, you're not on press. I'm just like, what do you mean I'm not on press? Like,
yes, I
Google
am.
it. Of course I'm on press. Like, what do you mean? Like, I haven't been sent all the way up here to not get in.
Yeah.
It's like somehow 10 minutes of going back and forth. I got it. But that's small hall shows, and that's the thing. There is lots of that. That's the politics in boxing where if you are the home promoter or a big promoter, you're able to just pull certain strings and cause just issues for the away fighter all the time.
It's not just that as well. It's everything that goes with it. The fact that the people are training 10 weeks, they're earning, they have to sell tickets, and that's why the pandemic's been such a problem for small hall promoters. They have to sell tickets, and if they come and perform and there's hardly anyone there, the production's terrible. It's not even filmed.
And you think these boxers are running about dropping tickets off everywhere? Do you know what I mean? That takes up a lot of time and effort. And just think in between training, they're training twice a day. Then they're finishing training, then they're dropping tickets off here, tickets off there, tickets off there. It's hard work. Hard work, them small shows, man.
So seeing that, I think that's where it started for me, was like, these guys inspire me. We've got the skill set to help them.
Yeah.
And that's how Ultimate Boxer started, obviously, in terms of trying to find ways to give more opportunities to these guys, give more money to these guys, and put on better shows. And I don't think it's the promoter's fault. Like, it's so hard. People aren't interested in, two guys that they don't know having a scrap, unfortunately. It's just most people aren't interested in it. And so that's how it started, and that's where Ultimate Boxer kind of came from.
I think that's interesting, because boxing, to the mainstream audience, they see the glitz and the glamour, they see the Sky Sports and the box office, and they don't necessarily see the years of pain. And it's a dark sport. I know so many fighters, and fighters are complex creatures. Like they've got a lot of them, like dark stories, dark parts, like and they need to fight. And they need, you know what I'm saying? They need something like that.
Even for me, myself, like, if I ever get to a point, because I'm up and down all the time, you know, how I feel sometimes. And when I feel a bit like that, my go-to is boxing.
Yeah.
And it is, and it's like, and also as well, like, it's like you're training for something, you know, you're taking out, it's controlled aggression.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, I've never been like a gym person, you know, like lifting weights. I think, what am I lifting weights for? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whereas that, you know, you've got an end goal, and like, it's controlled aggression, and it's discipline, and you find that when you're focused on something like that, everything else around you just gets better. Yeah. You know, you're happier, you sleep better. Yeah. You know, you're more positive. Things start going your way more. Yeah. It's just, there's just no sport like boxing.
That's something I've noticed with Jack is
sorry, mate.
When I've met him, he's got everything going for him, and he's got all, you know, he's getting commercial deals here, there, big on Instagram, gets all the birds, all that kind of stuff. But really,
well, I won't say anything, but yeah.
But he's got 2 million followers. You know what it's like, but seeing him now have discipline in his life, that makes him happy. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You can have all these things, but if you don't have goals, if you don't have substance to what you're doing every day, and a dream and a vision of something that makes you feel good about yourself, makes you feel uncomfortable, it doesn't matter. You can just be strolling through life, and it becomes quite a sad existence. I think that's what I've seen.
And do you know what it was? It was like this boxing now and training, especially training Ben Davis. I mean, who gets that opportunity? Exactly. It's amazing. Like I pinch myself on him in that gym sometimes, but it's like I got to a point where I thought, what am I doing? Yeah. What is my job? What do I do? And it's like you lose your way a little bit, and you think, I don't, you know, you could go, you know, I do my filming, I do stuff like that. But then when these, you know, you finish filming or you finish, you know, your brand deal, you go out, you sit there and you think, and then you're always worrying about what's next. But this is a goal for me, and since I've been a little boy, I've always said I want to turn pro. Yeah. I remember you being in the gym going, I can't wait till we all turn pro. You know, but then you get older, you discover birds, you discover the pub. You discover you've got to go to work all day, and do I want to go to gym after? And then you lose sight of it. But it's always been in the back of my mind. And it's like, well, I felt a bit lost at one point. You know, especially, you know, working with Ultimate Boxer on the shows, doing the presenting, I thought, my God, this is me. This is what I want to do. Yeah. Then I got the bug to actually go back in the ring. Yeah. And now I'm training. I'm just, every part of my life is happier. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon before you went into the villa, how were things then? Like, do you feel like things? I feel like it's very intense in there. Yeah. And when you come out, the whole world's looking at you, and you've got this, you know, like, just you're under a microscope. Would you say dealing with pressure after coming out of the villa is like as hard as anything you've had to do?
Do you know what? It is hard. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not hard, but it's like, it's one of them things where it's changed my life completely for the better. Because without, you know, going on Love Island and stuff, I'd never have been able to have met Ben and Baz and been given the opportunity to present with Paulie Malignaggi, one of my fucking heroes who I've watched boxing since I've been a little kid. Yeah. You know,
shout out Paulie.
Yeah. Shout out Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie. Do you know what I mean? And you know, so it has, but then obviously there's a lot of pressure with it. But before that, obviously when I was working, I had a stationery company with a friend, and we self-supply stationery. Everyone thinks it's just pens, but we sold the lot. But we'd done anything, literally. And I like a routine. So, you know, I'd get up, I knew what time to go to work, I'd meet my targets, and then come home. And that, you know, I knew where my life was. And it's like, you go in the villa, all of a sudden you come out, wow, everyone knows you. It's like, what? Yeah. Like, it's mental. I think I haven't even done anything. But, you know, so back to the boxing, having a structure again, I go to training in the morning, I come home, I have something to eat, and then I go back training in the evening, have my dinner, walk the dogs, go to bed. I need structure in my life, because otherwise I get anxious and I get a bit like, what am I doing? Do you know what I mean? So, but I've gone off track there. But it was hard, but also the best thing that's ever happened to me. But you take the rough with the smooth, though, don't you? Do you know what I mean? All the good things, you've got to have a bad thing with it. It's like the training. Like, nobody really... I'm not having it. Nobody really likes training to the point where you can't breathe.
It's the worst.
Anyone that says they like it, they're a liar. Yeah. But they love the feeling of their hand getting lifted at the end of the fight. Yeah. So it's, you've got to take the rough with the smooth.
Do you know what? It's strange you say that, because I actually can think of somebody who likes the feeling of almost dying. But he's just come from utter turmoil.
He sounds like a right laugh.
No, there are people that enjoy the pain.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think as you get more used to it.
Yeah.
But you do.
Yeah,
there's some people that get to a mindset where the more struggle and painful it is, the more they feel they're growing. And
it's that saying, isn't it? Train hard, fight easy.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But it's not even just that. I feel like, for example, you seem like a well-rounded individual. Obviously, there's going to be dark parts or whatever it is.
Of course.
But you seem well-rounded. In even before going into the villa and stuff, you had a stationery business, all of this kind of stuff. Whereas some people, and do you know who was like that? Who was kind of well-rounded? Like Oscar De La Hoya. He said that growing up, he was just pretty normal.
Yeah.
And then you have other fighters who are monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Like, just use it like as in like like.
Don't reference it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get in trouble.
But yeah, there are other fighters, or there's even other ones that come from turmoil, and that's where they find their hunger to box and their hunger to fight, and they just have no quit in them. And that's the strange thing I always find about boxing, that you get so many different walks of life. You get somebody who's grown up in an ivory tower.
Think of Junior Witter. He was a bin man.
Yeah.
And then he went and won. He won a world title, didn't he?
Lamont Peterson. He was literally homeless. The American dream. So that's what I love about boxing more than anything, is that you can
everyone's on the same level when you're in that gym. You're all on the same.
Everyone's going for a dream.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Everyone's waking up with a goal and a dream, and that's what's beautiful about boxing. And that's what's amazing about the gym.
It's like I was talking to Ben actually earlier today at training, and I said, do you know what? Like, my dream, I'd love to win a Southern Area title. And he said it's a right hard title to win, and it is. It is a really hard title to win. But he said that's like, to some people, that's their world title.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you get to like British level, European level, money starts getting involved and things like that, doesn't it? And then they think, well, look, I've got this far, I'm getting a good purse to the deal. Whereas those sort of belts, like your Southern Areas and all that kind of thing, to these people, that's their world title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that probably in boxing, that'd be my dream, to win the Southern Area title. So I can go in any pub and say, I'm the best fighter in here at light heavyweight.
As long as it's in a Southern Area.
As long as it's in Southern Area. If I'm up north, I go, right, no, maybe not then.
But how, have you had to take the same kind of mindset from before boxing? When you're meeting targets, as in your stationery business, it's different, but it's the same in the sense that every day you're just trying to do a bit better, a bit more.
Yeah, and you've got to have that sort of, you've got to want to improve yourself. Because look, don't get me wrong, look, there's been times when I'll be working, I'm on the phone, I'll go to a meeting that didn't go to plan, or I didn't win a big account, and you think, oh.
Yeah. And
then it's so easy to go, oh, do you know what, I'm not going to bother today. But then there'd be days where, I'll put it this way, so there'd be days I knew I had to make up an extra couple of grand to hit my target.
Yeah.
I needed my commission, I had to do it. But you find a way. I found a way to do it in 2 days. Wow. Because, but I could have done that before. Yeah. So it's in you to do it. So I think the same with boxing, where you think, oh, I can't run anymore. I ain't got another round in me. But if you have to, somehow your body finds a way to do it. So I think having a job where I used to have to meet targets and stuff has helped me with boxing, because you just find a way to get through it, and you find a way to do it.
Yeah. There'll be times when you're in the ring and you're looking across the ring and you see someone that's bigger than you,
stronger, faster, falls over or something.
And you've got to find a way. It doesn't matter. He's faster, bigger, stronger, but you still, that attitude is kind of what it takes, like, I don't care what advantages you got over me, I'm going to make it happen. I feel like that's a 100%. That's a proper. It is a boxer's mentality. It really is. It really is.
The more setbacks you have, the more painful it becomes.
Yeah.
The more your body can always just go much further. Your mind can always go much further than you think.
And I've learnt that it's mad, because it's like you think you can't go any further. And then you do it again next week, and then there's someone next to you going, come on, you can do it. And then all of a sudden you do it. Whereas if you was on your own in the gym, you'd go, right, that's me max. Yeah. But when you've got someone there, or you've got a target, you think, right, I'm fighting to this date. You just somehow find something in you, and you think, oh my God, I can do it. And then you want to get further than that. Exactly. And you want to get further than that. then along the way you're losing weight, you're getting fitter, and all of a sudden you go jab, head off.
That is exactly it. That's where boxing has inspired us. Like when we first started, I think I was 23 years old. There was no chance I was going to get a promoter's license, and we went for it. It took us 6-8 months, of pitching, of this, of that, got one, and then suddenly decided, right, the first event, Manchester Arena. I mean, cannot tell you the amount of mistakes and the amount of setbacks that we made trying to put on a £250,000 show with no broadcasters, with nothing to support. First time we'd ever worked in boxing, and we're kind of just making it up as we go along. But because we went so deep and put ourselves in such a vulnerable position, it allowed us to learn a lot faster. And so usually the highest mountain that you take, the faster you learn, and 100%, that's what boxing is as well.
Definitely.
And it's just that's why it's a beautiful sport, and that's why it's great to be around it.
What problems have you found that the pandemic's brought, specifically for BOXXER, but also because you are a boxer now, Jack? Like what has, I feel like I know a lot of people where the pandemic has basically brought their career to a bit of just a standstill.
Do you know what? So I was originally going to box at an earlier date, and then the pandemic hit. Couldn't go in the gym, couldn't do anything. You get scrutinised for like anything you do. Like, is this safe? Is this safe? Like I didn't know what to say. Honestly, it was like, do you know what I mean? And there was worry about, am I going to have any work and things like that. So I really struggled with it mentally, to be honest. But I just think it was just it affected everything in such a way. But I feel like we're adapting now as a nation. I feel like I keep hearing the phrase, "It's the new normal." And it kind of is getting like that now, isn't it? Well, no, listen, don't get me wrong, I fucking hope not. But like, but it affected me in every way, in work, training, just mental health, everything. It was like, what?
For you specifically, for Jack specifically, when we signed him, we were like, right, we're going to sell loads of tickets. We got his brother involved. We were planning an after party.
Yeah.
That's what we loved that side. Our shows were always like.
I mean, I was only involved for the party.
Fucking big parties and everything. That's where, and for that to be taken away, it almost is like it's a big hit to the industry. But at the same time, you've got to react. Now Jack's doing a reality show instead to document his journey, and I think it's going to become more content focused. So there's definitely always a way. But what I would say for the smaller fighters, the people that don't have that digital following, it now is more about how many followers you have rather than how many tickets you can sell.
And it is sad that, isn't it? Sometimes when you think of it that way.
It is.
But
it is. I feel like it's. I mean, fighters will kind of not love it because they'll be like, oh, I've fought for years and he's come and he's got more Instagram followers and because of it he gets a bigger. But I think fighters can learn from it. I really do. I feel like fighters. It obviously it's good to be able to just.
Mike Tyson, would a killer like Mike Tyson that doesn't give a shit about pretending about this or that, could you really see him when an 18-year-old Mike Tyson going like
it's
this?
Completely different areas. No, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I feel like once you get to a certain level, the Instagram followers and all of your socials just grow anyway. But I'm talking in the beginning stage, so in order to kind of build your own shop window, I feel like a lot of fighters should do a bit more online, whether it just means posting stuff of you training and just to be able to show people I'm here. I feel like it's.
I think so, and I think it's just literally, again, like you said, the era that we live in now is madness. Like it's madness. Like people now are famous and have changed their lives just through their content they put on Instagram. Not doing it on purpose, just doing it because they're being themselves. And so I think, especially for fighters, it's national champions that turn over and then go pro and stuff like that. Post up your pad work. Post up. People go, God, you're in half good. Then you get your boxing following will happen. Prime example is that Ryan Garcia. He's like a proper celebrity now, mate.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Exactly. And the thing is, they're not putting up. I mean, you're more likely than not. If you're a decent boxer, you'll have your six-pack. Just post your topless picture.
It's a content business.
It is becoming.
100%.
It is becoming.
100%.
The numbers matter now, and it will get you your
fights.
At the end of
the day, it is a business. The whole thing's still a business.
Yeah. How many times do we see, fighters just kind of not refusing to fight fighters, but coming up with excuses, not faking injuries. Let's just say it how it is, just to not be able to fight that person because that person brings way more risk than a reward.
There's more problems.
Exactly.
There's more pretenders in boxing than MMA. 100%,
Exactly.
From that perspective. But hopefully, that's one thing out of the pandemic is that fighters are going to have to fight each other, and that's just how.
100%.
Do you think so? For example, you're not a widely experienced pro where you have 50 fights. Would you prefer to fight with or without fans?
I thought about this. Obviously, when I've boxed before, I've boxed in front of quite a lot of people. I've boxed at your call before, and it does make me nervous having those people there. So now I've been thinking about it more and more because there's two parts to it, innit? So, if you had everyone there cheering you on, like it was you're the home fighter. In a way, for me personally, everyone's different. Sometimes I find that even more pressure.
It is
because they're all there. I'd rather have no one know where I am, not care.
Yeah.
So I feel like fighting with no fans on my pro debut. For me, I would prefer it because I'm be lying if I said I'm not nervous, mate.
Yeah.
My last fight was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And I'm coming off a loss.
Yeah.
That's why he was 4 or 5 years.
Do you know what I mean? That's why I thought, fuck this, I ain't doing this no more. Somehow I'm now turning pro. But I want to, I think for me personally, it would be, it suits me.
Yeah.
It suits me. And then, once my confidence has grown, then, let's get the crowd behind me. But as it lays at the start, I think I'd prefer it.
I've always thought that. I thought boxing with no fans, it suits smaller hall fighters and
Less
away
experience.
fighters, less experienced fighters. But also, there's some boxers that are just incredible sparrers, and they can spar, they'll box your head off, and then in a fight, they kind of freeze a little bit. And sometimes this kind of situation helps them. It helps the more skilled boxer, I've always assumed would thrive more under
there's less variables, isn't there?
Exactly.
There's less noise, there's less pressure.
Exactly.
It's more. It comes down to talent, really. It just depends on who's going to get those opportunities as well. Because there's probably 50% of boxers now sat at home having no idea where their career's going.
That upsets me. That.
It is
because we all know what goes into it, and to think that they're sitting there, that upsets me. That thought. Do you know what I mean?
Because they always had the dream, and that's why I go back to it, and that's why this pandemic is so. They need to think about when they put people in lockdown, and because they might be saving lives, but they are ruining lives as well.
Of course,
and they're ruining dreams. And without people, without their dreams, what do they have?
And the thing is, we're assuming everyone's 22, 23, and you can have a year off or 2 years off. What about the people that are turning 30, 31, 32, 33? This is the year that they can't have off. This is the year that was meant to be the breakthrough year for you. So it's tough. But I guess that's up to the British Border Control. How were you when you went for your pro license?
Well, so it's funny, right? So
better be careful.
It was mad because I took all my old programs with my name in it and all the old photos of me boxing. They asked how many fights I'd had and stuff. And then what did he say? Mick Collier made me laugh. He went, I don't know, he was on Doctor Who or something, and I went, so it made me laugh straight away. And they said, look, you obviously can fight. You've boxed before. He said, So they give me my license, but I've got to do an assessment, and then the license will come through the door.
The board are doing well. It's a tough position for them to be in.
Funnily enough, the board actually texted me back this morning, just confirming my date for not a date with someone from the board, confirming my date of when I've got to do my assessment. It's at Guildford City Boxing Club. Normally at Peacock, isn't it? I don't know why.
They're strict guys.
They're very strict. Yeah.
My second show, I get pulled in, serious. Threatening to take my license away. End up with a 2 grand fine.
Did you?
Yeah, and but now I'm closer with them than ever.
What for?
As I say,
he was streaking.
You got to ask.
we went right in at the deep end.
Yeah.
We went, right, let's do 8-man tournaments. Let's try and get TV. Let's do arena shows. And
Yeah.
with that comes huge problems
Yeah.
because you've not done shows before.
Yeah.
You've not done the health and safety before. You've not made stuff, made sure things go smoothly. And so I think it just got the first show, they gave me a slap on the wrist. And then the second show, it was at the Indigo O2. I don't know if anyone's been there, but
I was at that one, wasn't I?
no, you were. So we've done a couple there, but the second one, the ring's on the stage.
Yeah.
You can't get in and out. We had Charlie Sloth DJ booth next to the ring.
Yeah.
They were like, "What the fuck is this?" Suddenly moving Charlie Booth's DJ booth out the way. The first show, Big Nasty had come on. I don't know if anyone saw that, and I said, "Please don't swear. Please don't swear."
Sure, it wasn't Grime Originals you're talking about.
No, no. Why is that?
Eskimo dance.
Yeah, Eskimo dance.
No, I suppose it's good and bad because you're learning all your mistakes.
It's reckless.
Yeah,
it was
you
reckless
learned
as well.
them.
I wouldn't recommend how we did it.
Yeah.
It's been a fast track, but it's been bumpy as hell.
Yeah.
And Big Nasty, we said, please don't swear. This was his first live performance, his first TV show. He goes,
there, mate.
everyone,
Not to swear.
Yeah.
everyone on the left saying, everyone on the right saying, live on TV, and no joke. And
No, he didn't.
I swear on my life, it was Hearn actually mentioned it in one of his interviews because he watched that show.
I mean, it is funny,
and
though,
he couldn't believe what we had guys writing in saying I was sat there watching a lovely boxing show with my 10-year-old son, and suddenly this guy comes on the stage and goes, everyone on the right saying, and the worst thing was it pans to our crowd and they're all going, no, I'm just thinking,
It's the word, it's probably the worst swear word.
First show,
guilty.
And so that then culminated in the second show, Charlie Sloth, DJ booth, and
He said, "Say prick."
Yeah, health and safety wasn't there, and it wasn't structured. And to be fair, we were so focused on making it different that we forgot, we didn't focus on the fundamentals, and that's why the board are a great thing, and I'm so glad they are. They're the best in the world, really, at what they do,
really
and they brought me in, and they nearly took us away, but now we're closer than ever, and British Boxing Board doing really, really well during
So
this
because
period.
of that, did you end up varying your shows and doing different things?
Our shows now are so well run, and I think anyone at the board would say that, and it's, from being shit scared, from making sure that we bring the right people into the team, and learning quickly, and now we work well with the board, and it's all been pretty plain sailing. We've cut the shows; it's a different type of feel, and we just put more emphasis on the boxer really, and that's the main thing.
Obviously, you've got the deal with BT and ITV.
Mm.
That is big,
Mate, when you told me that, mate, I was very proud of you, Ben.
it's massive, this.
And you, Baz, don't worry. And you, it's proud of you.
And Mason and Charlie
and Mason and
the
Charlie.
whole team. We're a young team, all in our 20s. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. It's hard work.
Yeah.
We don't have the consistency of a Sky contract or a BT contract, 2 years, 3 years, millions going in. We have to work per show, every show, and make sure a show's good enough. And so, it's the first time that we will be on ITV as well, which is great. And then BT as well, and who have always supported us.
Fighters will most probably be excited about that. You get terrestrial TV, you get BT Sport, it's good, especially in a time like this when you just want exposure.
And that's why broadcasters need to come together. Promoters, we've seen it with Hearn and Warren looking to come together. There's no other option.
Yeah.
The boxers are the most important thing in the sport, and we've got to give them the opportunities.
Do you know what it is? Like, I'm a huge boxing fan. Before anything, I'm a boxing fan. I want to see the best fights all the time. So it's annoyed me, some of the Cold Wars I've seen. Not even just here, but in America, where Top Rank don't fight Golden Boy fighters and stuff like that. And we've been robbed of so many fights
It's
because
terrible,
people don't want to get in bed together, so to
100%.
speak. But I think it needs to stop.
It should stop, and that's one thing coming out of this that hopefully just makes people realise life is too short. And look at MMA, and look at these guys don't care about losing, and they still get opportunities. There's this thing that's happened in boxing where promoters are looking after their own interests, the boxers are too scared to lose, and it just creates a combination where the sport just suffers. And hopefully, coming out of this, the sport's gonna be flying if we can get back to normal.
Does the pandemic mean less fights get made? protecting their O's, you know, like these kind of things. I feel like, does it matter anymore? Do people just want to fight?
I think you got to be a bit restless now. I mean, there's so little opportunity that.
Yeah, but I was thinking,
go on.
so because of obviously the pandemic, all the fights that are happening really are all just televised, aren't they? And they.
Yeah.
So that the only opportunity they got to fight is unless you get on a show that's televised,
Which is tough.
which is
Yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. So even some of these fighters are starting out at 5-0s and things like that. Do you know what I mean? They're good fighters, good enough to be on TV, but if they haven't got enough exposure, they're not going to be put on the TV.
You've got to worry about the
So
sport.
I can imagine that,
Yeah.
that people are getting.
If you're
really,
now an amateur boxer, done really well, unless you're landing in, you know, Ron McCracken's gym with the GB, or you're landing in, you know, you're from Essex and you end up with Matchroom, or you end up, you know, falling into Frank's lap. Why would you ever turn over if there's not those opportunities? You can't earn a wage, and so that's what worrying about the sport is. Are we going to see a reduction in professional boxers when the sport was at its most popular ever? I cannot tell you. It performs second to football on every platform.
Yeah.
It's ready to explode, but this is just making it so difficult.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you don't get paid as an amateur either, unless you're on the GB setup. So it's a bit weird. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't at this point. So it's tough for boxers. It really is in a world where it's tough. Even when everything's great, it's tough. So at times like this, when you've got no fights, no income, you know, like it's hard to look far into the future and see some hope. This is where a lot of careers will never return. You know, a lot of people will never actually recover from this pandemic.
Because for all of it, they've got bills to pay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like there might be talented fighters out there that have just thought, you know what, fuck this, I can't wait about it, and I'm going back to their old career or something, or even lose sight of their dreams that they may have had and probably may have even realised. Do you know what I mean? It's hard, mate. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So with regards to you, we know you want to go and win a Southern Area title.
I'd love to.
We got to go. You're gonna.
I'm gonna.
We're gonna. Careful matchmaking.
Careful matchmaking.
We'll get
The
all
true
way to
boxing way.
And let me get down,
We'll get you in the ring.
Down to middleweight, maybe.
Yeah, we're there talking about the best fighting the best, and then we say careful matchmaking.
Yeah.
But I feel like it means that you just have to have loads of good habits. Do you have enough of them?
Do you know what it is? So, obviously, look, I've started training with Ben Davison, right? And he, in my opinion, is probably the best trainer.
Just about still training with him, by the way.
Yeah, just about still training with him. I missed a session. But yeah, so training with Ben Davison, like, in my opinion, is the best trainer in this country by a long way. And talking about habits, he's taught me some little things that I've been calling them light bulb moments, and you go, oh my God, yeah. You know, little footwork movements and stuff that, I mean, look, I've boxed for years. I learned, so, I mean, look, my trainer, Richard, was great. He's an amazing trainer and stuff, but I learned in 2 weeks with Ben more than I'd learnt in the last few years of me training.
Yeah.
And that's the God's honest truth. Like, what a man.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what a man. And even the team around, like, even the nutrition stuff around it, amazing.
Have you met him? Have you met Ben?
I've not met Ben,
Yeah.
but I know he's meticulous. I can just tell
Mate,
that much.
He's just like...
He's 27 years old.
He's
amazing. It's like meeting a 47-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I've never... The man's knowledge is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just little tiny... He just taught me little tiny movements, and he looked at me and I go, oh my God, yeah. And it's like, I said he's like the Rain Man of boxing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely amazing. And like, yeah, some of the little things he's taught me, and getting into new habits. Obviously, it's all, when I first went there, you've got your old habits, the training that you've done before, the club you've at before. It's like anything, you know, there's different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But the way he teaches and the way he trains is second to none. I've never experienced anything like it, and I've honestly, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, feel arsehole lucky to be in that gym training with Ben, because you ain't getting any better than that.
Yeah. It's just from when you mastermind a Tyson Fury return like that after 2 years of...
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This return is harder.
Yeah, this turns harder, mate.
Do you think?
No, I'm
I don't know,
joking.
you're in
I'm
good shape. I was gonna say.
He's joking. You should have seen me last week, mate. I was 18 stone. I'm joking.
Well, look, guys. I think that brings it to the end of the discussion. I feel like we got quite a lot out.
I feel like we're all quite close now.
It was like a therapy
No,
session.
it was.
Yeah,
fucking
fancy
hell.
going for a quick beer then.
No,
Non-alcoholic.
no.
Non-alcoholic for me.
This is the thing. You got to watch Jack.
That's the good habits that we,
Every day.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying to him. I
Sorry.
don't think he minds me saying.
Crepes. I can see they're nice ones as well. Them
they're all right.
Jack's like a. I don't want to piss him off, but he's a walking parking ticket. He's just every day he's like what's he done?
What's he done
You
this
know, you get a call. He's no, he's a great lad,
Where's
and I
you
think
at? He's not beef for again.
yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to be surprised because he's got skills, and Ben wouldn't be doing it if he didn't believe that, and so. It will be November the 10th. We managed to get a 10-day delay.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yay!
So we'll be on BT
So
ITV.
Do you know, I might do middleweight now then.
Yeah.
No, let's not.
Super middle.
Super middle. I'll do super middle.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, no. Thanks for joining us as well, Jack. I'm looking forward to the journey, and I think you're going to be on a series with the Sun. They're going to be following your journey. That's going to be interesting. People get to see exactly what goes on in Jack's life up until this crazy sort of period.
Not everything.
Yeah. Not everything.
Not everything. Most things. No, I'm joking. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, boys.
Yeah.
Oh god, my stomach again.
Going training? Let's go training.
I've got training again later at 5, mate. I'm starving, hungry. My stomach's rumbling. I've been training today. Oh. All I've sat here and thought about the whole time is what my lunch was in the back of the car. I got meal prep, just a katsu curry, and I can't wait to get it down your gullet.
Well, that's it from us here today. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Stay tuned in. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. And we'll see you soon.